Hey guys, Shalana here. Welcome to the Binge Zone. On today's video, we're going to be recapping season 1 of Sex Education. So without further ado, let's dive into the recap. Season 1 opens up with Adam and Amy having sex in his room, but Adam can't bust. We're then introduced to the main character Otis as a guy named Dan comes into his room. Dan is one of his mom's booty calls. Otis and his best friend Eric ride their bikes to school, excited about the new school year. We find out that Otis has a psychosis that doesn't allow him to jack off. When they arrive in school, we're introduced to the other main characters of the show. We're introduced to Adam, who bullies Eric as part of their daily ritual. We meet Jackson, who has a big crush on Maeve. We're then introduced to Amy, who is popular and has a secret friendship with Maeve, who isn't popular. So on their school assignment, Adam comes to Otis's house, and despite Otis's best efforts to hide any sexually explicit items in his home, Adam manages to find some and finds out that Otis' mom is a sex therapist. Otis's mom, Jean, and Adam meet and hang out for a bit smoking before Jean mentions heavy smoking affects sexual performance, which is a problem Adam has been having, and Adam abruptly leaves. Otis is then paired up with Maeve for an assignment, and for the most part, Otis mansplains the vagina to Maeve before leaving class after being embarrassed by a video that shows his mom teaching people the proper way to stroke a penis. Maeve chases after Otis, and they find Adam hiding in a toilet block with an erection because he popped 2 Viagras, and now he has an erection that won't go away. Otis therapizes Adam into revealing that Adam is burdened by people's perception of him, which enables the erection to go away. Adam decides to own his own narrative by exposing himself to everyone in the cafeteria, which enables him to come when he has sex with Amy, but she dumps him afterwards. Otis also decides to own his narrative and tells his mother that he has trouble masturbating, but he doesn't want her help. With the psychosis, not the masturbating. Maeve then proposes a business opportunity to Otis where he helps people with their sexual problems, and he accepts. Adam then tries to communicate with Amy in order to understand why she broke up with him. Eric, Otis, and Maeve figure out the best way to get new clients is to go to Amy's party, which Otis and Eric dress up for. Maeve ends up buying a pregnancy test. At the party, Otis finds a couple and helps them with their communication issues. Maeve then takes the pregnancy test. After Otis manages to help the couple, he walks in on Jackson and Maeve after they just had sex. Eric is the life of the party and at the center of it all, teaching every people how to give a proper blowjob with a banana. Adam successfully crashes the party, and Amy tells Adam the reason she broke up with him is because he is embarrassing. Despite Maeve not wanting to continue the business, students have been asking Otis sexually related questions, causing Maeve to jump back aboard and resume the business. We then see how meticulous Jackson's morning routine is, and Maeve goes to the hospital about her pregnancy, and Otis wakes up with sticky sheets from a wet dream he had about him and Maeve. Otis meets up with Maeve pretty early at school for another scheduled appointment. Eric signs up for the school band after seeing the distance in his relationship with Otis, who is getting closer to Maeve. Maeve wants Otis to meet her at the abortion clinic. Lily goes to Eric's house in hopes of having sex, but then finds out that Eric is gay. And we see how troubling Eric's homosexuality is for his father. Maeve goes through the abortion, and as he walks her home, Otis and Maeve get closer by telling each other personal things about their lives as he finds out where she lives. Despite Otis and Eric appearing to be growing apart, they still meet up in Otis's room at the end of the day to talk about how each of their days went while playing the video game. Jackson is not as close to Maeve as Otis is, so Jackson seeks out Otis's help in getting closer to Maeve. Otis begins his next therapy session with a lesbian couple where Ruthie has difficulty achieving orgasm. Jean mistakes Jakob, the plumber, for one of her clients and begins to psychoanalyze him. Jackson then manipulates Maeve into thinking that he likes the same books and music as she does. And Lily finds out that Otis is a virgin. Jean and Jakob get closer despite their professional relationship, and Ola meets Otis for the first time, who happens to be researching lesbians by looking at porn. Lily proposes that she and Otis have sex. Maeve weighs the pros and cons of entering a relationship with Jackson. Maeve and Otis get more intimate in the school pool, and Otis gets an erection. Otis then goes on to intentionally give bad advice to Jackson because he is secretly in love with Maeve, and Jean awkwardly tries to get closer to Jakob. Otis gets to the root of the problem with Ruthie and Tanya. Jackson calls everyone to the cafeteria and makes a big gesture by singing to Maeve, which works surprisingly well, much to Otis's dismay. A picture of a girl's vagina begins to spread through the school. Ruby goes to the toilet block and tells Maeve that it's her vagina and she needs her help. Maeve agrees to help for free and enlists the help of Otis. Maeve plans to go with Jackson to meet his parents. Otis and Eric dress up in drag in preparation for a concert. Maeve has an awkward dinner with Jackson's parents, where after snooping around realizes she's not good enough for Jackson and leaves. Otis ends up missing the bus, leaving Eric to go to the concert without him. Otis and Maeve's investigation of the vagina pic leads them to Amy's house. Otis and Maeve then decide to go to the store to get orange juice in order to get more information about Kyle. Eric decides to leave the concert and gets robbed at a bus terminal. Maeve then convinces Otis to steal something in the store, but he is caught by Ola, who lets him slide. Their investigation leads them to Olivia as being the culprit. She's the one who sent the pic around because Ruby is overly critical of her, and that ruins their friendship. Eric gets assaulted on the way back to Otis's house. Once Otis gets home, Eric gets angry at him for ditching him for Maeve, and they start to get in a fight, and Eric leaves. Maeve shows Jackson her trailer park home, and Jackson reveals personal details about his life, causing him and Maeve to get closer. During the school assembly about the vagina picture, several students stand up in solidarity to fight back against the shame it's caused. We then see a flashback of Otis's childhood where we see his father having sex with a patient, essentially cheating on his wife. Eric actively avoids Otis in school. Jackson's swim performance is not as good as it used to be because he's distracted by Maeve. Otis then agrees with Lily's proposition to have sex. Jakob returns to do more work for Jean while they both get closer, and Otis helps Amy with her sex problem. Eric's new persona is negatively impacting the people around him when we see him disrespecting Mr. Hendricks and assaulting Anwar. Eric opens up to his father, and Lily goes to Otis's house to have sex. Amy, who had difficulty with masturbating, eventually sees the joy of masturbation, and Otis and Lily try to have sex, but ultimately ends up with Otis having a panic attack. Lily leaves because she doesn't think Otis is ready to have sex, and Ola ends up asking Otis out on a date. Otis opens up to his mom about Eric. Mr. Groff is informed that Adam cheated and didn't write a wedding essay. Maeve agrees to go to the school dance with Jackson. Ola is being transferred to Otis's school. Otis then asks Ola to the school dance, and Eric still refuses to talk to Otis. On his way home, Eric meets another gay black man asking for directions. Mr. Groff tells Adam that he knows he didn't write the essay. Jackson then begins to rebel against his adoptive mother by drinking before the dance. Eric goes to church and begins to embrace the love that's all around him. After Jean and Jakob have sex, Jean psychoanalyzes him only to be essentially wrong in her assessment. Eric then returns to his flamboyant self and decides to attend the dance. At the dance, Otis finds Ola and unintentionally disrespects her by saying Maeve was higher on the food chain than she was. Eric and his father become closer as he learns from his brave son. Otis then apologizes to Eric, and they become friends again, dancing in the middle of the party, essentially stealing the spotlight. Liam climbs the prop moon and professes his love for Lizzie. Otis then talks to Liam about love in front of everyone, but Liam falls and is taken to the hospital. Adam attacks Amy's new boyfriend Steve before Mr. Groff breaks it up, and Adam physically attacks his father, telling him how much he hates him. A drunk Jackson tells Maeve that he paid Otis to help him get closer, which then ends up ruining Otis and Maeve's relationship. Jackson, still drunk, argues with his adoptive mother before storming out and going to Maeve's house where he wants to stay. Lily finally finds a partner to have sex with, but is unable to consummate. Otis is upset when he finds out Jean's new book is about him being sexually repressed. Otis and Maeve are called into Mr. Groff's office. Mr. Groff assumes Otis and Maeve were selling drugs, but Maeve protects Otis from the consequences. Lily needs Otis's help, and Jakob wants a relationship with Jean that goes beyond having sex whenever she needs her plumbing fixed. Eric is paired up with Adam for detention to clean up the band instruments. Otis confronts Jean about her parenting. During detention, Eric and Adam attack each other before having sex. Otis and Lily ride their bikes down a hill so he can let go, but further down the hill, Lily opens up about wanting to have sex just so she can get it over with, and she's not behind everybody else. Maeve sits before a committee to explain why she should stay in school. During class, Adam gets physically closer to Eric, and Jackson and Maeve break up after she says she doesn't love him. Jackson strikes up a deal with Mr. Groff that he will swim if Maeve stays in school. Amy leaves her popular friends for Maeve, and Jean goes to Otis's school, and her and Otis make up. Maeve has found out that her brother Sean has left again. Jean decides to pursue a relationship with Jakob. Otis tries to be romantic to win Ola back, and Adam is leaving for military school. Maeve finds an apology letter and a stolen trophy from Otis and goes to Otis's house to give him back his sweater, but finds Otis kissing Ola. Otis gets an erection from this makeout session, and the season ends up with him jacking off. Woo! Well guys, that's it for season 1 of Sex Education. Let me know what you guys think of this video in the comment section below. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. And until next time, binge on.